There are times I wish I had only read it and never lived it. Sandra Locke once described of her tumultuous affair with Clint Eastwood.
Shocking. Clint Eastwood's bitter feud with a traitor has just been brought to light, exposing the worst details about both sides' personalities.
He was an influential and widely recognized director and Academy Award-winning actor who could presumably lend a helping hand to unlock Sandra's potential.
What could have driven a calm man like Clint to such fury that he would use his power to mercilessly destroy his rival's career?
Well, a naked man is chasing a woman through an alley with a butcher knife and a horn on. I figure he isn't out collecting for the Red Cross.
The giant of Western films has carried this resentment for 30 years, creating a shocking tragedy that continues to this day. This is not just a minor conflict, but a harsh truth that is gradually being unraveled. Here's the explanation that will shed your breath in astonishment. In 1975, Clint Eastwood entered a fateful turning point when he developed feelings for Sandra Locke on the film set. At that time, Eastwood was already a high-ranking power in Hollywood, holding a dual role, both a movie star and a director/producer with absolute power. This partnership is not separate from work, but takes root directly in the creative environment.
I just want you to know that even if we do get to Phoenix, I'm not testifying at any lousy trial.
That's your problem. My job's just to get you there.
Where Eastwood both oversees production and directly shapes the artistic soul of the work. The resonance in their professional thinking quickly erases personal distances, creating a strong bond between two souls already intimately connected through each frame.
Always getting rousted by the cops. I suppose if we had guns like some of the...
Within this dynamic, Eastwood remains steadfast in his operational philosophy, streamlining processes, saving time, and prioritizing maximum efficiency. When preparing for subsequent projects, he consistently places his trust in Sandra Locke, making her a familiar face in the works he directs. This repeated collaboration is not simply a matter of favoritism, but demonstrates Eastwood's preference for collaborators who thoroughly understand his pace and methods. This working style creates a stable ecosystem, ensuring smooth production and eliminating unnecessary professional conflicts. On this journey, Locke not only stood in front of the camera, but also began to delve deeper into the creative machinery, from project incubation to direct directing. These opportunities arose from Eastwood's self-contained production system, spanning from script development to distribution networks, helping to realize ideas that would have been incredibly difficult to access resources for in an independent context. The intertwining of his personal life and career ran parallel to Eastwood's consolidation of power within the industry. He established a strategic relationship with Warner Brothers and transformed Malpazzo Productions into a highly autonomous production unit. Here, the frequent presence of a trusted collaborator was understandable, but the extent and depth of the collaboration with Locke created a distinctly dependent professional structure. She gradually became an indispensable part of Eastwood's creative world, where every decision, from casting to career development, was under his vision and approval. Notably, Eastwood's view on long-term collaboration was significant. When discussing filmmaking methods, he once revealed his preference for people who understand how I operate, so that everything flows smoothly, without having to readjust from scratch. Throughout a decade of collaboration, their parallel presence shaped a familiar image, both on-screen and behind the scenes. The films produced during this period not only guaranteed Eastwood's commercial success, but also demonstrated the stability of the creative circle around him. The fact that Locke was given repeated opportunities in large-scale projects helped her build an impressive career profile, but also kept her trajectory closely tied to Eastwood's career. This dependence developed subtly over the years, as career choices narrowed to projects controlled by Eastwood. As the central figure, Eastwood continued to maintain a closed working model where personal trust became the universal key in selecting collaborators, turning every project into part of a large artistic family. By the mid-1980s, this relationship had reached a deep level of cohesion, evidenced by Locke's frequent appearances on key projects. This was the period when Eastwood not only solidified his position as a leading filmmaker, but also built a close-knit group of collaborators, where emotions and work intertwined. This seemingly unchanging stability laid the groundwork for significant changes later on, as personal emotions began to infiltrate and undermine the previously established collaborative structure. Cracks in his private life gradually led to changes in how Eastwood managed his team. His subsequent decisions demonstrated how a filmmaker accustomed to overall control had to confront the turmoil stemming from his own heart. A decisive decision. In the late 1980s, the more than 10-year partnership between Clint Eastwood and his longtime co-star came to a quiet end. While Eastwood maintained a demanding work schedule, the structure of his private life began to show significant cracks. The end of the relationship was not announced in writing, but their absence from joint projects and public events served as confirmation. It was a definitive separation, without press releases or any official explanation from either side. In 1989, the simmering conflict officially escalated into a legal battle when his co-star filed a lawsuit against Eastwood. The lawsuit focused on a request for financial support, based on years of cohabitation and the implicit commitments arising from their relationship. Observers called this a classic palimony case, a property dispute between unmarried individuals who had a long-term cohabitation agreement. For Eastwood, this was a rare moment when previously private aspects of his life were exposed in court documents. In court, the plaintiff asserted that their long cohabitation had established lasting financial obligations and support rights. In response, Eastwood denied any responsibility and rejected the existence of any binding economic commitments. Instead of engaging in direct public debate, he entrusted the litigation entirely to his legal team. Eastwood's position was consistently expressed in legal documents. The old relationship was insufficient to establish alimony obligations as requested by the opposing party. His brilliant achievements in later life were always accompanied by the complete absence of his once closest collaborator. A turbulent old chapter officially closed, giving way to a new phase with independent directions and other artistic heights awaiting him. Close by legal measures. After the initial conflicts, the resolution process quickly shifted to negotiation to eliminate the risk of a protracted trial. In 1990, Clint Eastwood reached an out-of-court settlement with Sandra Locke, closing the first chapter of the confrontation. The settlement included direct financial compensation and the transfer of ownership of a valuable property. This decision demonstrates Eastwood's pragmatic thinking, prioritizing decisive solutions, cutting through legal protracted processes to protect his career. The agreement not only ended the lawsuit, but also established a transparent financial line, completely separating the consequences of the broken relationship. Nevertheless, the repercussions of this contract didn't stop at the numbers. A key clause in the agreement concerned opening a new career path for Locke through a major film studio. According to legal documents, this was a project development contract including financial support and the prospect of her taking on a directing role. Symbolically, this was a valuable opportunity designed as a bridge to reconciliation. Nevertheless, the reality was the opposite. No films were ever shot, and all script and production plans were indefinitely frozen. The deadlock in this professional agreement sparked a second lawsuit in the mid-1990s. This time, the focus of the dispute shifted from personal feelings to the good faith and effectiveness of the previous contract. Locke's side alleged that the agreement with the studio was merely a formality, while Eastwood and the parties involved maintained that all financial commitments had been fulfilled. The case became a classic example of the nature of development contracts in the film industry, where the payment of money never guarantees the production of a work. Eastwood's position centered on the legality of the contract asserting that all final production decisions rested with the studio's professional authority. This approach allowed him to maintain a safe distance, separating personal responsibility from the complex workings of the Hollywood machine. The second lawsuit dragged on precisely at the time when Eastwood was entering the peak of his directing career. But the pressure from the hearings, he maintained a disciplined work pace and completed a series of major film projects. The parallel between a flourishing career and a protracted legal battle demonstrates Eastwood's remarkable crisis management abilities. The legal documents released during this period also inadvertently revealed the operational structure of the industry, particularly how studios managed risk through development contracts without guaranteed output. By 1996, a final settlement was reached, officially ending the nearly decade-long dispute. While specific details were not disclosed, this event completely resolved all legal obligations between Eastwood and Sandra Locke. From this point on, the court case officially closed, ending one of the most complex and costly chapters in the renowned director's personal life. The final settlement of the legal disputes freed Eastwood's mind, allowing him to focus entirely on new creative experiments. He continued to strengthen strategic relationships with major studios and maintained a consistent release schedule. The costly lessons from this series of lawsuits reshaped how he subsequently established professional agreements. More transparent, more rigorous, and absolutely separating emotional elements from production terms. These brilliant artistic milestones not only affirmed his unique position, but also demonstrated how an iron will overcome personal upheavals through unwavering focus and an unconditional love for the seventh art, a long-lasting legacy. After concluding the final legal chapters in the mid-1990s, Clint Eastwood entered a new era where all resources were poured into cinematic projects of artistic stature and narrative weight. In 1992, he released Unforgiven, a work that not only redefined the Western genre but also marked a shift towards profound contemplation. The film was a double triumph, both commercially and critically, earning Eastwood Oscars for Best Director and Best Picture. This achievement established his position as a mature filmmaker, one with the courage to re-examine the very legendary figures he had helped create. In the early 2000s, Eastwood further solidified his artistic empire with $1 Million Baby. The film once again garnered Oscars for Best Picture and Best Director, placing him among the rare filmmakers who reached the pinnacle of fame late in their careers. For the next 2 decades, Eastwood maintained a consistent pace of work, with a wide range of diverse themes. From Gran Torino and Invictus to American Sniper and Sully, he demonstrated incredible versatility in exploring complex historical, social, and psychological themes. But changing settings, Eastwood's mark remained evident through his restrained storytelling rhythm and in-depth exploration of human nature. This consistency was not merely a style, but a professional methodology honed and affirmed over more than half a century of dedication. Alongside his artistic brilliance, Eastwood steadfastly adhered to an unwavering principle: absolute separation of his private life from the spotlight. Once the disputes with Sandra Locke were resolved, he never made any public comments or responses about their past relationship. In 2018, a quiet milestone occurred when Sandra Locke passed away, officially closing the most turbulent chapter in Eastwood's personal life. This coincided with the completion of The Mule, a project in which he both directed and starred. But the death of a woman he had been close to for a decade, and his most formidable legal rival, Eastwood maintained a consistent stance. No statements, no discussions, and no changes to his media strategy. This choice reinforced the image of a man who prioritizes privacy and communicates with the world only through his creative work. Entering the 2020s, at an age when most of his collaborators have left the film industry, Eastwood shows no signs of slowing down. He went on to make Juror No. 2 when he was over 90 years old, a testament to his rare resilience and intense will to control his personal legacy. He appeared primarily in public at film events, maintaining absolute distance from personal controversies and rejecting any attempts to unearth old stories. This focus helped him maintain a pure, professional image, untainted by the aftershocks of the past. Over the decades, Eastwood's silence on personal events transformed into a highly effective legacy-building strategy. Instead of letting old disputes define him, he chose to engrave his name in history through his films, awards, and profound influence on the film industry. Behind the rugged exterior of a movie star lies the mind of a shrewd executive who observed and learned from the mistakes of the old Hollywood system to create his own empire. The unchanging principles in his work today were actually kindled on the dusty film sets of the 1950s, where a young actor understood that true power lies not in glamour, but in the ability to control one's own destiny. The foundation of power. Eastwood honed himself in the harsh environment of television production, where discipline, efficiency, and adaptability were conditions for survival. These early experiences not only shaped him as an actor, but also forged a distinctive management style, tight control over the creative process, and all related relationships. During his years working on long-running film sets, Eastwood quickly realized the core value of meticulous preparation and minimalist operations. Witnessing massive film crews wasting time on cumbersome procedures, he formed the belief that true strength lies in rational organization rather than ostentatious scale. Upon assuming key positions, Eastwood created a work environment that prioritized focus, eliminated distractions, and fostered individual initiative. This style not only allowed him to control the timeline, but also created a stable, safe zone for every project he participated in. The turning point that solidified Eastwood's power was his shift from the role of producer to director. Laying the foundation for Malpaso Productions was not simply a business decision, but a revolution in management thinking within Hollywood by Clint Eastwood. By establishing this entity, he single-handedly created an independent fortress, allowing himself absolute autonomy from the first lines of the script to the film's release to the audience. In an environment where filmmakers often bow to the dominance of studio giants, Eastwood chose a different path by building a flexible, collaborative model. Here, he plays a central role, coordinating all crucial links with a thorough understanding of both technical and artistic aspects. This operational structure provides pure artistic freedom, freeing him from the invisible pressures of executives who only care about numbers. Malpaso's working system maintains a stable and extremely high level of efficiency. Every decision on set is made swiftly based on first-hand experience and keen professional instincts, rather than being bogged down in endless meetings or cumbersome approval processes. Eastwood's philosophy is to trust in the meticulous preparation and capabilities of his longtime collaborators, who are well aware of his incredibly fast-paced work style. Another key pillar of Eastwood's leadership style is his minimalist consistency. He eliminates unnecessary details, from staffing arrangements to filming techniques, focusing all resources on the core of the story. This minimalism creates a quiet, professional work environment where each member knows their role and responsibilities without needing excessive explanation. This streamlined approach ensures his projects consistently meet deadlines and often fall below budget, a remarkable feat in a film industry rife with wastefulness. The architecture of Malpaso Productions serves as a masterclass in professional autonomy, effectively shielding Clint Eastwood from the notorious bureaucracy of the Hollywood studio system. This structure not only fosters artistic freedom, but also establishes a stable workflow where decisions are made quickly based on empirical experience rather than lengthy meetings. By eliminating the need for committee-based approvals, Eastwood transformed the traditionally chaotic film set into a streamlined environment governed by intuition and technical precision. He operates on the principle that the first take is often the most authentic, a belief that requires immense trust in his crew and an unwavering confidence in his own vision. Throughout his career, Eastwood maintained strong strategic relationships with major studios, most notably Warner Brothers, partners who readily respected his in-depth working methods. This partnership was never about submissiveness. It was a sophisticated alliance built on mutual gain. Warner Brothers provided the massive machinery of global distribution, while Eastwood delivered high-quality films that consistently arrived ahead of schedule and under budget. This financial discipline earned him a level of creative sovereignty that few other directors in history have ever touched. Executives stayed away from his sets because they knew the Malpaso way was synonymous with fiscal responsibility and cinematic excellence. Instead of constantly changing environments or chasing the latest industry trends, he chose to build trust based on economic efficiency and consistency. He surrounded himself with a shorthand crew, a loyal group of technicians and artists who moved with him from project to project for decades. This continuity meant that by the time cameras started rolling, every department head already understood the desired aesthetic and pace. The lack of turnover within his production family allowed for a compounding of expertise, where the collective memory of the team replaced the need for tedious pre-production debates. Clint Eastwood's journey is not only marked by classic films and prestigious awards, but also by how he faced and handled personal challenges decisively, discreetly, and consistently. If you find this story provides a deeper and different perspective on Clint Eastwood, please take a moment to like the video, share it with fellow film enthusiasts, and subscribe to the channel to not miss any more in-depth analysis. You can also leave a comment sharing your thoughts on how Clint Eastwood handled important turning points in his life. Your support and feedback are the driving force behind the channel's continued efforts to deliver even more high-quality and informative stories.